In the annals of scientific history, there are tales of brilliance, innovation, and discovery. But some stories are shrouded in darkness, stories where the pursuit of knowledge leads not to enlightenment, but to doom. This is the haunting tale of Dr. Alaric Voss, a man whose groundbreaking work promised to revolutionize the world, yet became the harbinger of his own demise. A genius consumed by forces he could neither control nor comprehend. Berlin, 1920s. A city pulsing with energy, art, and intellect. The war was over, but its scars lingered. In the cafes and university halls, radical ideas clashed with old-world traditions. It was here, amid this intellectual ferment, that a singular mind emerged. Dr. Alaric Voss, a physicist whose theories defied convention, whose hypotheses whispered of realms unseen, and whose name, though once spoken with admiration, would soon be consigned to infamy. While his peers mapped the known forces of nature, Voss was obsessed with what lay beyond, the invisible forces governing the thin membrane between our world and the unknown. He wasn't merely a scientist. He was a visionary, and like all visionaries, he was isolated by the magnitude of his own ideas. In the early months of 1927, after years of ceaseless labor and sleepless nights, Voss announced a discovery that would, he claimed, alter the destiny of mankind. He had isolated a previously unknown form of energy, one that did not conform to the known laws of physics. He named it Erebus energy, after the ancient Greek deity of primordial darkness. It was a strange and unstable force. Objects would levitate, metallic tools would hum and tremble, lights would flicker without cause, and an unnatural chill would permeate the air. But it wasn't just the physical anomalies. Those present reported feelings of unease, persistent headaches, and disturbing visions that haunted them long after leaving the lab. Even Voss's own diary entries, recovered decades later, spoke of whispered voices in the dead of night and shadows that moved without cause. Yet, undeterred, he pressed on. As his experiments grew more ambitious, the consequences became harder to dismiss. Lab assistants fell inexplicably ill, plagued by fevered dreams of apocalyptic landscapes and faceless figures. Machinery would surge with power when disconnected, or operate in reverse, as if responding to unseen hands. In one chilling incident, a young assistant named Emile collapsed, muttering incoherent warnings about a door that should never be opened. He was found the next morning, eyes wide open in terror, having taken his own life. Warnings mounted. But to Voss, these were the birth pains of progress, mere side effects of touching the unknown. He believed himself chosen, destined to unravel the veils of reality. By late 1929, the once sociable and well-respected scientist became a ghost of his former self. He severed contact with his colleagues, shuttered the windows of his estate, and barred entry to his laboratory. Inside, alone but for the hum of Erebus energy, he labored obsessively, now driven less by ambition and more by fear. In his final surviving journal, he wrote cryptic passages. The veil thins, the shadows whisper my name. I am both master and prisoner of this force. Rumors spread through the city, of ghostly lights at odd hours, of a low-frequency hum that rattled window panes blocks away. On a cold November morning in 1930, a thunderous explosion reduced Voss's estate to rubble. Neighbors reported a blinding white light and a sound like 1,000 voices crying out at once. Those who ventured close spoke of an unnatural cold that lingered in the ruins. Among the debris, authorities found a charred, unrecognizable corpse, later identified as Voss through dental records. His laboratory instruments were warped and fused, melted by a force no conventional fire could have produced. The official report cited a gas leak, but those familiar with his work knew better. His final note read simply, "I have seen what lies beyond. Forgive me." In the days following the catastrophe, government officials moved swiftly. All evidence of Voss's research was seized. Witnesses were interrogated, and within weeks, the incident vanished from public record. Unmarked vehicles were seen at night, removing what little remained of Erebus Energy's containment apparatus. It is rumored that fragments of his work were transported to secret government facilities, buried in archives marked classified and never seen again. But some pieces were never recovered. Urban legends spoke of experimental technologies developed in secret, of laboratories struck by mysterious power surges, of researchers driven to madness after replicating experiments from a collection of notes said to have survived the incident. In obscure corners of academia, the name Alaric Voss remains a cautionary tale, a reminder that some knowledge carries a cost too great for humanity to bear. He opened a door, one physicist said, but it wasn't a door to progress. It was a door to something else. What exactly was Erebus energy? Was it a new form of power or something older, something primal and malevolent? Did Voss tap into the foundational forces of the universe, or did he awaken something best left undisturbed? Was his death an accident, an orchestrated cover-up, or the inevitable result of a man consumed by his own creation? The answers remain buried, sealed in classified archives and the decayed pages of a lost journal. But in the silent corridors of forbidden science, his shadow endures. Dr. Alaric Voss's story serves as a chilling reminder. In the relentless pursuit of knowledge, one must tread carefully. For some doors, once opened, can never be closed. And in the darkness beyond them, something waits.